I think most people hear words like blockchain, crypto, tokenisation, AI, and tend to switch off. And I get it, because for too long this stuff has been explained badly. Too much jargon, too much hype, and in my opinion, not enough clarity. I'm Oliver. I've spent over a decade working inside financial services, fintech and digital assets, and I've generally had the privilege to work with some of the most forward-thinking firms in this space. But throughout this time, one thing has always stood out to me, and that is the general lack of awareness in wider society of the genuinely transformative impact of these technologies and how they will affect most, if not all of us, throughout our lifetime. There is so much more to it than just Bitcoin and making speculative crypto investments. So I started this channel to make this knowledge accessible. I think for too long this information has been difficult to access and reserved only for those in certain roles and companies. What I want to do is to cut through the noise and give you the intelligence and information that actually matters, as best I can in plain English. So, let's get into it. I want to start this episode with a question. When was the last time the way money actually works, the infrastructure underneath it, the stuff that you don't see, fundamentally changed? Not the apps, the contactless payments or mobile banking, but the actual underlying plumbing. The way money moves between banks, between countries, between institutions. The honest answer is probably not since avocado bathrooms were first popular. The core infrastructure of the UK and European financial system was built in the 70s, and it's not fundamentally changed since. That is until now. Right now, in 2026, the UK government, the Bank of England, the FCA, and the European Central Bank are all simultaneously rebuilding the financial infrastructure that underpin every transaction, every investment, and every payment in this part of the world. In the next 10 minutes, I want to give you the clearest possible picture of what is changing, why it matters, and what it means for you, whether you work in finance, law, healthcare, retail, or anywhere else. Think of it like this. Imagine you're looking at a map of a city and you can see that 5 major roads are all being rebuilt at the same time. Each road is a separate project, different teams, different timelines, but they all connect. And when they are finished, the city moves completely differently. That's what's happening to the UK and EU financial system right now. 5 separate but connected rebuilds. Let me walk you through each one. Road 1, the FCA's new crypto regime. For the first time in UK history, crypto assets are being brought inside the regulatory perimeter. The application gateway opens in September 2026 and the regime goes live in October 2027. Any firm operating in this space without authorisation after that must stop. Road 2, the digital pound. The Bank of England is in the design phase of a potential UK central bank digital currency. No decision has been made yet on whether to launch it, but the blueprint is being written right now and the decision is expected this year. Road 3. UK tokenisation of wholesale markets. The FCA and the Bank of England published a joint vision in May 2026 for tokenising UK financial markets, securities, bonds and funds. A number of firms are already live in the digital security sandbox. Road 4, MiCA. The EU's Markets in Crypto Assets regulation is now in full enforcement. The grace period ended in July 2026. Any crypto business operating in the EU without authorisation must now stop. Road 5, the digital euro. The European Central Bank is finalising the legal framework for a digital euro in 2026. Pilots are planned for 2027 and a launch is expected around 2029. 5 roads that are all being rebuilt simultaneously and they're all connected. So, why is all this happening now? In my opinion, I think that 3 things have come together. Firstly, the technology is ready. Blockchain infrastructure has now matured to the point where the Bank of England and FCA are comfortable building on it. That's not a small thing. These are historically the most conservative institutions in the country. If they believe the technology works, there's probably a good case that it does. Second, the competition just can't be ignored. The US passed the Genius Act for stablecoins, and Singapore and Dubai, for example, have had a crypto framework for years. If the UK and EU do not build their own regulated digital financial infrastructure, capital, talent, investment, innovation, it will just go elsewhere. Thirdly, the old system is showing its age. Settlements take days, payments stop at weekends, and cross-border transfers just cost too much and take far too long. These are not acceptable in a world where everything else moves at the speed of the internet. The pressure to modernise has been building for years, and the technology to do it now exists. These three things together explain why 2026 is the year when the rebuild moved from planning to construction. Quick pause. If you're finding this useful, please hit subscribe. Every week I cover exactly this kind of shift in plain English. It really helps the channel grow. Back to it. Right, let me bring this out of the abstract and into your world, because this rebuilding affects everyone differently depending on what they do. If you work in legal or compliance, the FCA crypto regime and MiCA are creating new obligations for you right now. Your clients who hold digital assets, operate crypto platforms, issue tokens, they all need guidance. The lawyers and compliance professionals who understand these frameworks are already differentiating themselves. The ones who wait will be playing catch up. If you work in accounting or finance, tokenized securities, digital assets on balance sheets, and stablecoin treasury management are arriving at your desk, whether you are ready or not. The accounting treatment and the tax implications are live questions that your clients are already asking. If you're in a business, the payment infrastructure you rely on is changing. Near 24/7 around-the-clock settlement is coming. Stablecoin payments are being regulated and legitimised. The cost and the friction of moving money, especially abroad, is about to drop significantly. Understanding these new rails early gives you a competitive advantage. If you're a student, a graduate, or early in your career, you're entering the job market at the exact moment when every financial institution, law firm, large enterprise in the UK and EU needs people who understand this space. That's a real moment to upskill and get yourself ready. And of course, if, just like the rest of us, you're simply someone who uses money and doesn't keep all your cash in a shoebox under the bed, then the digital pound and the digital euro will eventually change how you hold and spend your money. Understanding what they are and what they can and cannot do is knowledge that will really matter. So practically, what do you do with this? Initially, identify which of the 5 rebuilds is most relevant to your work. You don't need to understand all 5 in depth, but you do need to understand the 1 or the 2 that directly affect your industry, your clients or your organisation. My advice is to start there. My honest opinion, having worked with regulators around the globe, do not wait for the deadlines. You need to be on the front foot and get ahead of things. The organisations that are preparing now are the ones that will be ready. Build your knowledge deliberately. You don't need to read everything or listen to every podcast going. I certainly don't. By watching a channel like mine, you can find clear, structured intelligence that gets to the core of these changes. That is exactly what we're here to provide. The UK and EU financial system is being rebuilt. Not in 5 years, but right now. The people who understand what is being built, why it's being built, while everyone else is still arguing about whether it's real, will be the ones who shape what comes next. Look, this stuff is moving fast, and the gap between the people who understand it and the people who don't is only getting wider every day. That's why I'm here, and that's why this channel exists. If you found this episode useful, then please hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it helps more people find exactly the type of content we've been discussing today. Now, if you want to keep up with what's happening more broadly, then please subscribe. Every week I put out content that discusses exactly the kind of shifts that we've been talking about today. If you want to go deeper than YouTube allows, then please head over to our website, linked in the description below. You can book a bespoke coaching session directly and over time access structured training materials. No hard sell, no spam, just the right conversation and the right information at the right time. I'm Oliver and this is Read Between the Blocks. I'll see you next week.